I grew up without stability. No real home, constantly moving, bullied, and feeling unloved. I was angry at my mom, angry at life, and eventually angry at God. As a young girl, I used to talk to God so freely, but somewhere along the way, life hardened me. I became depressed, lonely, insecure, and disconnected from the one who created me. By the time I was 22, I had embraced identities that the world, my pain, and my peers gave me. I called myself a queer, black feminist woman because it felt like community. But even with the labels, the anxiety and fear never left. I was trying to find belonging, but what I really needed was healing. Then one day, I remembered the friend I had as a little girl, the God who saw me when no one else did. I broke down in tears and said, "God, I'm yours." And in that moment, I saw it clearly. The enemy had been after my identity all along. Why? Because it was God-given, full of purpose, and tied to eternity. As 1 Peter 2:9 says, "You are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a peculiar people, that you should show forth the praises of him who has called you out of darkness into his marvelous light." Even after rededicating my life, I didn't fully realize how deep that battle over identity and purpose went. In October, I made a decision I thought was obedience, but it was actually fear. I convinced myself I was doing God's will by enlisting in the Navy, but deep down I was just afraid of failing again. I didn't want to feel like a disappointment to my family. I shipped off to boot camp in February. At first it was exciting, but it didn't take long before the cracks started to show. I got very sick. Depression hit hard. I reached a breaking point where I genuinely thought about ending my life. I wrote a letter to God, apologizing and asking him to forgive me for being so weak. I told him that if I couldn't escape that pain, that night would be my last. But God heard my cry. A woman in my division found the letter and spoke up for me. I still don't know who she was, but I know it was nothing but the grace of God. I was sent to a VA psych ward for a month. It was painful and humbling, but in that place of isolation, God started to heal me. I met Christian friends. I slowed down. I started waking up every morning to pray and read the Bible, something I had lost in the noise of life. That place of brokenness became a place of restoration. I saw the truth of Romans 8:28 come alive. And we know that all things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are the called according to his purpose. When I came home on April 7th, 2025, I saw life through a new lens. I don't take anything for granted. Not my phone, not my freedom, not my family. Being cut off from the world reminded me how deeply we need God, not just in crisis, but every day. Looking back, I realized I was never just tired. I was lost. I kept telling myself I was following God's will, but I was really chasing validation, trying to outrun failure. If I had been honest with myself and with God sooner, I might have avoided the pain. But even then, he was there. The Lord your God in your midst, the mighty one, will save. He will rejoice over you with gladness. He will quiet you with his love. He will rejoice over you with singing. Zephaniah 3:17. That's the kind of father he is. Now I know who I am. I'm not what the world says. I'm not what fear says. I am a daughter of the King, and I'm not running anymore. I'm walking in purpose. I'm writing books, building my nonprofit, launching my business, and staying focused on what God has truly called me to do.